Hey guys, welcome to the channel and welcome back to another quick video. On this video, I want to talk to you guys about why I believe the US economy is in trouble. And I also want to give you some things that you can do to prepare yourself in case of a major recession. If you're stopping by this channel for the first time, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber, smash the like button if you get anything of value out of this video, and also share the video and turn on your notifications. So let's jump right into it, guys. A recession is likely in America. Now, some of you may be saying we're already in a recession. I understand that, and we're going to talk about that real briefly. But if you start to look around the world globally at what's happening in Japan and what's happening to the economy in the UK, you begin to see that inflation is not just an American thing, right? These things are happening in other parts of the world, in other countries. And we need to take stock of that. We need to start looking at exactly what's going on in other parts of the world, because those things could ultimately be a part of what happens right here in America. So just to clear some things up, let's talk about some definitions, right? As far as a recession goes, the textbook definition for recession is 2 straight quarters of negative inflation-adjusted GDP. Now, we've already had 2 straight quarters of a negative GDP right here in America. But things are different right now, and a lot of experts are saying that we're not really in a recession, although we've had the textbook definition of a recession. And I'm going to talk about how those things are a little bit different than normal recessions that we're used to. And sort of the understood version of a recession is when GDP drops significantly. Now, what is GDP? GDP is just simply gross domestic product. GDP is the total value of goods and services produced. I'm giving you the really basic definition of it, but that's basically what the GDP is. It's total value of goods and services produced. Now, when that drops significantly, then you're in a recession. Since America's GDP has dropped 2 straight quarters in a row, why aren't they calling this a recession? Because in a typical recession, you have things like demand goes down. And when demand goes down, unemployment goes up. Demand goes down, companies have to start getting rid of workers, making huge layoffs. And so unemployment goes up. And when unemployment increases, there's obviously less consumer spending. People have less money to actually go out and spend. And that's just a simple result of people losing buying power. Companies start to sell a lot less, and there's huge layoffs, typically adding to that unemployment rate, obviously. People stop spending. Consumers lose confidence. And also, in a typical recession, you have no economic growth. Well, guess what, guys? None of that stuff is really happening right now, although we've seen 2 straight quarters of a decrease in GDP. So all these things have to kind of work in conjunction to make a real recession. Although GDP has gone down 2 straight quarters, we know that the real recession is probably on its way. So that's why experts are saying this looks different. It doesn't look like the normal recession that we're used to seeing, because these other factors have yet to start kicking in. It could be much bigger. It could be much worse if there's a turn for the worse in the economy. You know, this isn't like 2008 or even the start of the pandemic in 2020. This is different. So the big question now is not, are we going to see a recession, or is a recession going to happen? Really, the big question is, how bad will this recession be? How bad will things actually get? And that depends tremendously on how quickly inflation goes down. Right now, the unemployment rate is only 3.7%, which is pretty low. Now, they are predicting that unemployment is going to increase over the next few months. We understand that. But typically, 3.7% unemployment is not consistent with what you see in a recession. And also right now, a lot of companies are cash rich. And the other thing about right now that I think is really interesting for us to take note of is that the Fed is raising rates. Typically in a recession, the Fed is lowering rates to get people to go out and spend. But right now, we see the Fed being insistent about increasing rates and raising rates to slow down the spending. And that's the opposite of what normally happens in a recession. So again, just another thing that shows us that this climate right now, economic climate, is not typical of a recession, although we've had those 2 quarters of GDP going down. So here's the kicker. What can you be doing right now as an American consumer, an American citizen, to actually be ready for this upcoming potential large recession? What can you be doing right now to make sure that you're set you're prepared, and you're not going to be caught off guard and surprised. Let's talk about it. There's 6 things I want to give you guys that I want you to think about doing right now in the last quarter of the year to prepare for what may happen. Number 1, the first thing you can do to prepare and make sure you're ready is simply reassess your monthly budget. You need to consider cutting some of the discretionary income that you're using on certain things. Think about reducing your expenses to almost the bare minimum. See what you need and what you want. Separate the two. Make sure you're taking note of exactly what you need on a monthly basis and maybe cut some of that extra spending. Number 2, the second thing you can do right now is to build up emergency cash. Build up emergency money. Again, with a recession, a typical recession, and this could be coming, we know unemployment rate is only 3.7% right now, but it could go to 4.7 to 5.7 to 8. We don't know where the unemployment rate's going to go based on this climate. Now that means jobs could be shaky. And if jobs are shaky, that means that you need to have some cash built up to cover yourself in case of an emergency. So you want to be stacking some cash that's liquid, something you can get to in a heartbeat. If that means canceling vacations, cancel vacations. If that means holding off on some home renovations, hold off on the home renovations. You need to make sure you have some cash that will cover you in case of an emergency. Number 3, you want to pay off high interest debt. In other words, variable debt such as credit cards or debt that fluctuates on a regular basis, it's not locked in at a low rate. You want to try to pay that high interest debt off, because what's going to happen is as interest rates rise, money is just getting more and more expensive. So you want to make sure you pay off as much high interest debt as you can, as quick as you can. Now, number 4 is simply this, guys. Make sure you continue to invest. And we know the stock market is tied to this also. And it's been going down, we know that. But for a lot of us seasoned investors, we want to keep investing in the market because ultimately you're buying things on sale. You're buying stocks that are undervalued on sale. So keep that in mind, guys. Keep investing, even if it's only at a smaller rate, but you want to continue to do that. Now, number 5 is this. Solidify your skills. Make sure that you have skills that will actually pay the bills. I hate to sound corny, right? But you want to make sure your resume is tight. Again, unemployment could be on the rise. If unemployment's on the rise, you have to be ready for that. Number 6 is continue to look for outside sources of income other than a job. Perhaps a business. Just some additional sources of income besides only a job. And preferably a side gig or side hustle that's sort of recession proof, right? Delivery services, food and groceries. People always need food even in a recession. Water, pet care, transportation, home repair, auto repair, child care, health care. Looking for side gigs and side hustles in those areas will make you almost recession proof. You want to be ready for the recession by having a side gig or side hustle that you know is not going nowhere in case the economy takes an incredibly bad turn. So on this video, guys, I really want you to think about the fact that the U.S. economy may be in some serious trouble down the road. And they're not talking about it like it's serious problem, but I want you guys to be aware as consumers, as citizens, you need to know. And you also need to know what you can do to recession-proof yourself, the things you should start doing right now to prepare. Listen, if you got anything at all out of this quick video, do me a favor, smash the like button, share the video. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and also turn your notifications on so every time I upload, you'll get the notification. Listen, the best person to take care of the old you is the young you. Take care of yourself and take care of other people. Until the next video, peace.